So when was the last time you actually posted on YouTube?
I think it's been over 2 years now since I've posted a real YouTube video. And no, I don't mean like those re-uploads of like the podcasts or the agency case studies or the mastermind after movies like that I drop like breadcrumbs. I mean like proper content, you know, camera in my face, talking to you guys like I'm doing now.
So what happened?
Honestly, a lot, man. I doubled down on the agency, no distractions, no half-hearted side quests, just head down, work, and I can't lie, you know, it did pay off. We scaled to a level I never thought was possible when I first started, and I am talking about like actual growth, you know, real revenue, real clients, like real genuine good results. I bought an office, put together a proper 8-man squad, full-time staff, you know, not some cheap labor from Upwork, like I did like right at the start. Bought some buy-to-let properties, 2 more in the Netherlands, moved out to my flat in Amsterdam as well. I leveraged the agency books to finance nearly €1 million to buy a semi-detached corner house in one of the better neighborhoods of the city. And it's actually funny because I used to jog like in that area and look at the houses and just think to myself like, this is perfect. I'm in the center of Amsterdam, I'm right in the hustle and bustle. But you know, it's still quiet and I'm only 10 minutes away from like the actual center or the tourists. And you wouldn't think of when you're walking here that you're actually in such a big city. And 2-3 years later, I bought one of the biggest houses in the street. So yeah, what else, man? What else happened? I married my girlfriend, who is now my wife. We had a son. And well, if you've ever become a parent, you know that just changes everything. You know, your time, your energy, your perspective. We hosted 2 more masterminds as well since I last posted a real YouTube video. Proper ones, you know, real entrepreneurs, no gurus, just, you know, real entrepreneurs, deep conversations, no fluff. And yeah, you know, obviously I picked up some materialistic things along the way. The Rolex, I actually gifted my dad the Rolex as well. I got the Goyard bag, picked up the 2 Comic Club Award. And nice to have, of course, even nicer to give, sure, but it's not really why I got into this. You know, it doesn't interest me as much as maybe some of the others in the space. And stepped away from the coaching as well, so we completely killed off all of the coaching.
So why did you leave YouTube?
Well, it wasn't burnout, it wasn't lack of content, it was just that I fell out of love where the channel was heading, to be honest. And the most fun I actually ever had with YouTube was back in the fitness days when, I don't know, I was just messing around, you know, filming workout videos, eating ridiculous amounts of food with the 10K challenge and just not overthinking it. I had no clue what I was doing and it didn't matter, man. I was just having fun. And then after that, I started documenting the agency journey and that was exciting as well, of course, but it already had like some kind of a business angle to it because I was trying to push the lifestyle design playbook and then obviously the lifestyle design manifesto, the lifestyle design mastery courses, which, you know, obviously that turned into Consult X, which then became the syndicate with the masterminds. And it all made sense at the time, but as the agency grew and as my life changed, I just found myself like trapped in a lane that I didn't want to be in anymore. And I didn't want to be the guy selling like how to get clients or how to get clients with Loom videos, you know, while I was actually in the trenches building an actual business. And I definitely didn't want to be just another face on YouTube, you know, telling people how to run meta ads in a way that was never going to trend because, you know, let's be honest, like the videos about like the cold audiences, CBO testing, retention strategies, they're not exactly going to go viral, are they? But then you've got a guy in a penthouse somewhere in Dubai or Miami showing the watch collection, like that's going to get views. And that's kind of the problem as well. When people are scrolling and choosing between, you know, a guy working behind his desk and a self-proclaimed millionaire flexing his Lambo outside, they're not going to be clicking on the guy that's showing up spreadsheets and you know how to run meta ads, even if that's the guy that's doing the actual work. I realized I just wasn't interested in like flexing like that. You know, I enjoy some of the toys, sure, but I don't need to show them off, you know, to feel validated. I'd rather hang out with my son than pose for, you know, content just to sell a dream that's mostly just built on fluff. Then once your agency is dialed in and when you're running traffic for your own business, you know, you're building systems that work, you know, you're generating leads on autopilot, you stop relying on the stunts. You know, you don't need to cold DM or you don't need to host webinars every week or do the cold Loom outreach. You've got this like conveyor belt running and, you know, you stop chasing and you start choosing, you know, what clients you want to work with. And then the more the agency started to work, the less I actually cared about the well, not necessarily care, but I didn't really want to focus on the coaching side of things anymore. And it wasn't that I stopped caring about the people. I just stopped caring about like the industry, because the coaching world became less about helping the people and more about the marketing yourself as like this lifestyle brand. The watches, the villas, the flights, I just closed another client screenshots. It all just became like predictable and hollow, and you could almost like template the whole thing. And then when you've actually got the actual paying clients, you're paying your real money, relying on you to scale their business, it's hard to pretend that you're some kind of an influencer. So yeah, I stepped away. So now the big one, why did I come back? Well, because the agency space, I've seen what it's become, and I'm not a fan. The whole SMMA hype has faded. The start an agency, get rich quick, buy a course, that whole energy, it's dried up. The people who are going to jump in, they've jumped in and they've already done it, and now it's just noise. So worse than that, there's rot. ROAS guarantees, sloppy services, agencies just built entirely on Upwork freelancers, the cheap shortcuts, the founders who care more about the monthly recurring revenue for them rather than the results for the brands. And all these actual stores, they're paying the price. So I'm here to push the standard back up. Not as a coach, not as a guru, just someone who actually runs an agency and just wants to document what that actually looks like. I've got nothing to sell you, so if you run an agency, cool, crack on, do what you do. You're not my audience. I want to take this channel into a new direction for brand owners. So Shopify founders, people with actual skin in the game, because, well, you deserve to know how things actually work. So you deserve to see the insides of our team, what it's like to scale brands up properly, not just on paper, but in practice. So what can you expect? Well, behind the scenes of how we run our agency, what's working in terms of paid traffic, what we're doing with conversion rate optimization, how we build the offers, that stuff that will get 0 views probably, but will actually get you results. So next time an agency approaches you with some kind of a shiny pitch deck and a ROAS guarantee, you know exactly what to look for. You'll know what's real, you know how to spot the nonsense, and you won't lose money chasing the hype. That's what I want this channel to be. And it's not a content machine, it's not an ad for anything, just a place to document what we do and maybe help a few serious brand owners from getting burnt in the process. So if that sounds like something you'll get value from, great. If not, there's plenty of people out there selling the dream, so feel free to watch them instead. But if you're building something new, something real, if you're looking for a bit more signal and a bit less noise, then you're in the right place. So yeah, I'm back, not to prove anything, not to pitch anything, just to show you how we do things and hopefully raise the bar while I'm at it as well. Let's get back to it.